Hey guys, this is Stu. Just thought I'd do a quick video, well, say quick, it might be a bit of a long one, on some of the essential modelling tools that I tend to use and products in my builds. And I also want to pose a question to everyone, bar Mike Cohen. What essential modelling products and tools do you use and why? The reason I've excluded you, Mike, is because you've already actually done 2 videos about all the tools and products that you use in your man cave, and to be honest with you, buddy, I don't want to put you through that again. I think that would be pushing my luck. So don't worry about it, bud, okay? This is just out to everyone else that I know in the community. The reason being is because as I'm going to actually sort of try and cut down a bit on getting so many kits and start trying to invest in a few more products so I can improve on my skills, okay? So without further ado, I'm going to guide you through what I've got, okay? First off, I've got my little compressor. She's served me extremely well for the past 2 years now, and admittedly, yeah, I know it's one of those cheap Korean ones that everybody keeps going on about, but I do maintain her well. I always tend to empty out the tank on here every 2 months, and every time I use it, I basically let the air out as much as possible, okay, once it's been used. That way you can maintain your compressor much better. I got some of these tips off of Phil Flory, so thanks, Phil. But as I say, I've had no problems with her. She served me well, and I know Mike's got a similar one. So yeah, you do get some really good results off this. The other bit I use, funnily enough, is some of the packaging from what came in the box with the actual compressor and the airbrushes that were with it. I mean, the airbrushes were total crap, but as I say, she served me well. This was some of the packaging, the foam packaging that came in with it, and I basically use that for putting any of my figures or running gear or kit parts on when I'm painting them all separately. So got things around the house, they always come in handy, guys. Then I've got my vinyl gloves, which I use to protect my hands when I'm airbrushing or painting or even cleaning my airbrush. So always wear gloves, guys, because some of those chemicals in some of those substances could do your hand or skin some harm. So be warned. And also, I've got the most essential tool, which is the Vida WD-180 airbrush, as was recommended by Chris from Chris and Alex Modelling, and also more recently, Michael from Hamil Kabarkas. He did a very good review on this, and that's really what sewed it up for me, guys, so thank you both very much. And I've also got a new airbrush cleaning set. I haven't tried it out. Saw it on eBay, got me curious, so I thought, well, let's see. But at the moment, I tend to use mainly pipe cleaners. They really get into the crevices deep, clean out your airbrush thoroughly, and quite a handy tool. Also, I use cotton wool buds, basically to clean out the cup or some of the surfaces on the airbrush, and also use it to remove washes off of models as well. Another handy little tool is also my mask, specifically when I'm painting enamels, because obviously you have to use cellulose thinners, and the smell on that is very, very strong, and it can get down your lungs and cause damage, so I always protect my lungs wearing a mask, okay. I've also got some little micro brushes. I've not used those yet, but some modelers have, and they said they're a very handy little tool, so I'll let you know on that one. And then I've got my little Tamiya table, turning table, which I've got around about the same time I got the compressor. It's very handy when it comes to airbrushing, and also I use it for my updates as well. As you can see, I've got the AS90 Howie on the top at the moment. Good old kitchen towel, need I say no more. And then on the top, I've got some fishing weights. And you're thinking, why the hell's he got fishing weights? Well, what's that got to do with modelling? Well, if you're doing a tricycle undercarriage aircraft, you need some weights, and that's what I tend to use. Otherwise, it becomes a tail sitter. And also I use fishing line as well. That comes in handy for if you're doing biplanes and need to do the rigging on that, and also for ship models as well. Very handy little tool. You can get various thickness and lengths on it, and you can get these at any fishing shop. Another handy little tool is Slater's plastic card. These are thin strips. Now I got these at an old shop which no longer exists, which was called Mydon's out in Bracknell. Unfortunately the business is now gone, but I've kept them ever since. I'm not sure if you can still get hold of this, but I've got quite a collection there. These will come in handy if you've got a kit that's rather sparse in detail and you wanted to put some internal framework on it, or add to other detail on the kit. Very handy. Also, I've got some other sprue here, which my dad, God bless him, who's no longer with us, bought some 40 odd years ago in Dorking's model shop in Hampshire at Dorking Models. I tend to use that basically for some antennae on some of my armour builds, and I actually use it for the antennae on my Tiger. But as I say, I'm not sure if you can still get hold of it now. What else? Oh, Tamiya tape. Marvellous little product. Use it for seatbelts on 172nd aircraft, as well as masking. And I've got 2 widths. Then I've got my magnifying glasses, which I use for fine detail work, as well as painting my figures. And you've probably seen me wearing them on some of the previous hangouts. And then I've got this little mixer jar, which I use for thinning down and mixing my paints before putting them in the airbrush. What else? Oh yes, I've got my scriber here, which I use for scribing panel lines. I've not used this one yet, but this is the one I used to use. But I thought, well, I'm going to get a far better tool, so that's what I invested in. Cutters. This is a new pair I recently got. I can't remember the brand, but as soon as I get some information I'll let you know, but they are superb. Then I've got a mixture of tweezers, which you see here. Very handy little tools, and I've also got a pair for etch brass, but I'll be getting another set as well. Then I've got my 2 pin vices, which I use to drill out the figures for when I'm actually mounting them on the foam here. Excuse me. And then I've got the little drill bits here. What else? Yeah, Halford's primer. I've got that as well. Actually, I spray it straight from the can, and it comes up a beautiful finish, which you can see here on my F1 car. Very smooth finish, beautifully done. I did order the Badger primer, guys, if you're watching, that's Paul and Mike, but I still haven't had it through yet, so I think it's got lost in the post, guys. So however, I'm going to reorder another one. This one, as we all know, is the clear. I use Pledges. It goes on straight from the carton into your airbrush, and I use that basically to bed down paints and decals. Behind that, I've basically got the pastels, which again you can use for weathering. All you do is just grind it down and then just brush it onto the model. I basically use that on the exhaust shrouds on my Tiger, which actually made some really good burnt effects. Then I've got the good old Humbrol matte coat. That goes on beautifully. Cocktail sticks, which I do use to mount the figures and any accessories on the kit. And this little product here, I don't think you can get hold of it anymore. I actually obtained this from a well-known modeler who did a lot for the modelling community before YouTube came onto the scene. He did quite a few articles in Sammy magazine and some Scale Modelers magazine. The great late Ted Taylor. I met him at Olympia on the Model Engineering exhibition around about 1994. He actually pushed this product. It's like a little polish you use on your cannabis, and they do come up beautifully. As I say, I'm not sure if you can still get hold of this, but it was promoted by the IPMS at the time, of which he was a great patron of. So if you're watching, Ted, from up there, God bless you. And then I've got the old razor saw, which you see here, sanding block, polisher, emery boards, which I've got from Boots. However, I will be getting some UMP sanders and polishers. And I've got my 2 scalpels there, most essential tool. And then the scissors I use just to get fiddly bits off of sprue gates. Now, glues and fillers. Humbrol I used to use a lot, but I only tend to use it on wide surfaces. You've got the little Contactor Professional, which goes for minute parts. Again, I've got the old Humbrol one, which I very rarely use, if ever again anymore. And then I've got the good old medium Zappacat, which I use for any of the etch brass detail parts. This one is the one I use the most now. I'm absolutely fully converted to it. It's the good old Tamiya Extra Thin. When I first was aware of the YouTube community, a lot of you guys were using it and you couldn't get hold of it in this country. I'm happy to say you can now, and if you want to get some, do. It really bonds well. Then I've got Phil Florey's wash, which is the only wash I've got at the moment, and that really does bring up the detail on your kits and makes them look really battle worn. However, I will be ordering some new UMP washes. Then I've got the old Plasto, which I use for filling from Revell, and another good filler is Tipp-Ex when you've got those fine minor gaps. I did have Mr. Putty's filler as well, but unfortunately it's went off, so I've had to throw it, but I will be getting some more in. And I've got my first pigments, which is Miggs Dirt Mud. I'm going to try that out in a future build and see how it goes, and if it's good results, I'll get some more. Then I've got my brushes, which you see here, various mixture of them, and the finer ones I tend to use on the finer detail work, such as figures, etc. And then I've got my enamels in this box here, but I am converting over to acrylics because I've actually got them stored away down here, all labelled up, Tamiya, as well as AK. And also, last but not least, I've got the old Microsol and Microset solutions, which I use to bed my decals down. Fantastic stuff. I can't push it enough. Get some. And then obviously I've got my model clamps in there. So guys, that is all my essential tools. Hope you enjoyed the video and it's given you some ideas. As I say, I'd like to see what all you guys use as products and as your essential tools. Anyway, until then, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll see you soon.